Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look here at Elon and see kind of what's going on. And obviously, you're probably having an amazing day if you are previously invested in this coin or recently bought the dip. So we'll go ahead and cover that in a moment. I just want to quickly cover Bitcoin, of course, as well, just to understand kind of what's going on there, because it's not like it's a phenomenal day. I just think that right now, a lot of market sentiment is kind of shifting over to altcoins based on the fact that we've had some consistency from Bitcoin, and we're starting to see higher highs and higher lows. That's pretty much the bottom line. Also, we see a little bit more volatility based on the fact that, this weekend we're going to see a lot less, I would say, volume, and in turn the prices might spike up a little harder. So just be mindful of that. Make sure you set your stop losses, etc., and limit orders to ensure that you take profit. But for right now, looking at the moving averages, we're up over the 200-day set moving average. We're below the 50 presently, and we're trending closer to 50 on the RSI. Apologize for getting my numbers mixed up here today. And all in all, not bad shape, right? Bitcoin's doing very well, all things considered. So again, the focus is higher highs and higher lows. That's mostly what I think is happening here, of course, based on the simple fact that we're having a little bit more stability in the market, right? Doesn't take much, apparently, okay? Also note, if you are new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people how to trade, and I hope you can find some benefit here today, of course, and learn something along the way. Now, I have a trading academy and a trading community, essentially, that I have where I teach people how to trade. Link in the description below for that. Check that out in your own time, of course, but we're transitioning over to a website away from Patreon, so feel free to reference that at your own time. That will take place late January. Now, at this point, looking at Elon here, we can see some pretty nice green candles. Not quite as nice as the previous ones, but it's trending towards that. In other words, it had that same similar pattern where it had 2 or 3 strong days before and then just took off. So let's see if we can find out why. Now, a lot of times there's fundamental catalysts that cause this to happen, right? So sometimes looking at the TA only, you can't really see all that. So if you have some knowledge to drop, feel free to comment below on the reason why you feel this is happening, but I can tell you that based on the technicals alone, we have 3 strong days typically, followed by a 4th or 5th red day. So there's a chance we might see a correction here in the near future. So just bear that in mind. Not saying it's going to happen right now, but that could very well occur in the relative near future, next couple of days. So just be mindful of that. Not to say this is a pump and dump per se, but with a strong increase like the one we're seeing now, there's almost always a correction to follow. All right, so we're under 70 on the RSI, so we're not quite overextended yet. That's a good sign. And if you look previously here, we were up over 70 for a very long time when Elon did its first very initial increase. And it doesn't look like much, but it was actually quite a lot if you kind of take away the most recent gains, okay? So again, pretty significant increase from before, so there's nothing wrong with being up over 70 on the RSI. It just tells us right now it's not considered to be overbought, so the likelihood of it continuing upwards is still high, right? Same thing with the MACD convergence. We got a convergence roughly 2 days ago, which is the reason why I covered this here recently, to kind of get perspective and say, hey, this is waking up again, right? It's oftentimes a good buy signal when you see a MACD convergence on the 1-day chart. Okay, so looking at the 4-hour chart, let's go ahead and take a look here. This is interesting and awesome at the same time. You can see how the 50-day simple moving average is working as a nice support. However, the 200 was working as a resistance up until about 8 hours ago, and you can just see it took straight off. So all good stuff here in that sense. Usually when you break a strong resistance like that, the 200, you see the price shoot up like it did here. Again, it doesn't always shoot up per se, but it was obviously a strong resistance level, and that caused the price action to increase, and now we're well over 70 on the RSI. So according to the RSI, I want to tell you, though, we're a bit on the overextended side. Anything closer to 80 on the RSI is overextended, and we're at about 82. Or no, sorry, 85. Okay, so basically just meaning that, in the last 14 candlesticks, there's been a tremendous amount of volume, and that amount of volume is way higher than the price should be. In other words, the price is tremendously overvalued, or I guess you could say per se overbought rather, and it's considered to be definitely something that should potentially come down based on that sentiment alone. Will it come down? No, not necessarily. It just means that we got to be cautious and careful to kind of pay attention, if you will, right? I'd recommend a trailing stop loss for something like this. That way, it continues to increase with it, or even a trailing take profit target. That way, once you hit your target, it keeps moving up with the price, and you don't get stopped out immediately, right? There's different ways you can do that, and that's why we use trading bots in our community, of course, to ensure that we can lock in profits more effectively. Because really, it's not about getting into the right place and getting out the right place. It's how you correctly take your profits and how often you do that, right? That's probably the more important thing you want to try to learn as a trader. So With that being said, Elon's in good shape there. I wouldn't say it's going to just kick the bucket, so to speak, and drop off, but you want to start paying attention. A good rule of thumb, you can watch my RSI video for this, is that when the RSI on the 4-hour chart drops below 70, then that's a case in point where you might want to consider taking profits. Okay, but also bear in mind too, 70 can work as a support level as well, so you want to see how it responds first. Okay, a handful of things that we're not even close to yet, but I just want to bring that to your attention. Also note too, I think TD sequential, we should have got a good reset here. This is nice. Let's see, this is the one thing, and one of the reasons why we might actually see a continuation. And here's why, right? First of all, we're looking at 9 on TD sequential, and it counts up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got about 6 or 7 hours worth of continuation after that. Or no, sorry, not even 6 or 7 hours. That's like a full trading day worth of consolidation. Okay, so that's very healthy to have that staircase type of pattern. I talk about this all the time in my community. When you have a staircase pattern, it happens to evolve, comfortably or healthily or whatever word you want to use to describe it. It's a better continuation than one that just goes straight up, right? Parabolic is not good. We don't like to see that because it'll come straight back down, right? Almost every time you see a parabolic increase, it comes down by 50%. We don't like to see that Fibonacci retracement level get tested. We want to see it just continue to progress upwards, right? Would we want a healthy continuation for Elon? I'm sure you would if you're invested in it. So why not have that? Okay, so obviously that's a best case scenario. This is exuding a almost best case scenario, right? We came up, we got nine 4-hour candlesticks worth of not consolidation, continuation, and then we consolidated for almost a full trading day. And now with the last 8 hours, it's ramped up. So again, not surprised that this is taking off. Is it a lot? Yeah, that's an absolute significant increase. I mean, from bottom to top, that's 35% in under 8 hours. So, traditionally speaking, you could say in that amount of time frame, you could expect the price to come back down, at least somewhat. But what we have working for us here is a couple of Fibonacci retracement levels. We've got, 151 and 170. See, both working very strong as support levels. You can see the previous came up past it, came down, likely bounced, and continue up. This one could essentially do the same thing. So again, all good stuff here. But it's just one of those funny things where there's conflicting information, right? We got a healthy continuation here. However, it's absolutely overextended on the RSI, right? So it's overbought like crazy, but that happens in situations like these when we have stability in the market. Again, it doesn't take much. We just need to have that price go up just a little bit from Bitcoin. Those higher highs and higher lows are really sealing the deal, though. I think that really helps the comfort level for people and understanding that it's more comfortable or just more consistent. And that helps me too, obviously, because those lower lows and lower highs were consistent for almost 2 to 3 straight weeks, right? And now that little break in trend kind of gives us a little light at the end of the tunnel. So looking at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and wrap this up here. Ichimoku Cloud still tells us we have a good open position, right? And here's the funny thing. You see right here, it almost came through and intersected the price action, but didn't. So since we didn't get that close your position signal, the price just continued upwards. Now that the price didn't increase because of that, but that allows us to open and keep our positions open with Elon. Now I get the question right now, is it too late to buy in? Well, that remains to be seen, honestly. We got to kind of find out, where we're at with TD sequential here. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that and see. We were actually only about 4 hours into this continuation. So according to the technical data, right? This isn't personal opinion. It's just what the technical charts are telling us. We're 4 hours in to 9 hours worth of continuation, at least 9 hours of potential continuation. Could it go further? Yes. Could it go shorter? No. Or yes, it could. Honestly, anything could happen. But traditionally speaking, when you look at a chart like this and it is trying to continue, we're really only 4 hours into this bull run. Okay, because we have this nice, healthy, again, this 24-hour consolidation period, which helps the price action kind of retrace, kind of find its bottom. It tested this support level of 127 and wouldn't break past it. So now it's pushing as hard as it can. Okay, so ultimately, I guess the takeaway here is that can it go higher? Yeah, absolutely. We could literally see 5 hours worth of continuation. Should we expect another 30% today or tomorrow? Probably not. But again, that's just me being conservative. There's definitely potential though. Okay, so I just recommend setting stop limits, profit targets, of course. Obviously, the stop limit too if you were in the take profit already. But if we look at the Fibonacci retracement levels, the next target would be 190, and then of course 218 after that. Now we'll look at the big picture again soon. I'll cover Elon in the relative near future here, of course, to see what other potential we have. But for now, based on current Fibonacci retracement levels and its all-time highs, we're going to say 217 is going to be a strong resistance channel between 217 and 253. So if you're going to set a profit target, right, and you're bold and you want to go ahead and go all the way, then I would say 215 or something just below 217, which is a major, not only a major Fibonacci retracement level, but a previous all-time high. Then we would, you'd want to consider taking profits in that area. And the reason why is because just below a major Fibonacci retracement level, and specifically a previous all-time high, is a place in which the price usually will stop initially. Okay, so the price could continue to progress up to that point, especially since we're only, about 3 or 4 hours into a 9-hour continuation. There's a great chance we'll see 190 and 215. So if I were to set a profit target for my community right now, what I would be doing is I would be setting a profit target right around 187, and I would set my second profit target at about 215. And then potentially, just say somewhere in the range of 250 or higher, because that's the previous most recent all-time high. Okay, and then obviously we'll worry about the rest later, but 418 is a strong potential too as well for Elon if it has a nice continuation. We need to see a healthy continuation, because if it does what it did previously, right? This 2-day parabolic increase, you see how hard it came back down after that. Like there's just no way that it can sustain that kind of growth. Right. So I'd say over the next couple months, we could see in the 400 range. That's very much possible. But in the immediate future, I would say 215 would be the next largest profit target to take, minus maybe 187 would be the next most recent. So I hope that makes sense how I'm explaining that, but that is essentially what I look for when I take profit for my community and we decide to kind of go in on a coin like this. But just note, it's testing this resistance level at about 170, and it might get rejected soon. So if that is the case, just know that the price may retrace back down to the closest 151. So me being conservative again, I'm more of a buy the dip kind of person. So a lot of times I'll set a limit order close to the next major Fibonacci retracement line of maybe just say 152 or 153, and then possibly get filled, or add to my position depending on how you feel with the big picture. Right? It's really up to you and what you want to do, but this does have that. It has room for growth, right? The only thing that's overextended is the RSI on the 4-hour. Everything else is a green light. So all in all, I think that you're in pretty good shape if you were to continue to maybe add to your position. Just again, dollar cost average. Don't go all in right now. It's on the overextended side in the relative recent past, last 24 hours, extremely overextended. So just be mindful of that when you go in. Okay. Hope you found benefit. Sorry I talked a little bit longer here today than usual. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Looking forward to getting to know you better too if you join my community. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.